Where do you go after Spider-Man No Way Home? Not to mention the two incredible animated Spider-Verse movies. It kind of feels like anything interesting that could be done with the Spider-Man character has already been thrown out there, with it tough to compete with the spectacle of all three live-action Spider-Men teaming up. Wisely, new director Daniel Destin Cretton in Spider-Man Brand New Day doesn't try to push the envelope even further in terms of spectacle, going somewhat lower key in the fourth sequel. So in this one, years after Doctor Strange cast a spell to make the world forget who Peter Parker is, including MJ and Ned, Spider-Man has become a more solitary hero. In the midst of dealing with a physiological change that increases the balance of arachnid DNA in his body, he must also tangle with a new villain, played by Sadie Sink, who can control minds. Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day probably won't blow people away like No Way Home did. It should still find a massive and appreciative audiences with the most mature Spider-Man movie to date. With the character no longer a teen and cut off from his pals, Tom Holland's web-slinger is a bit less carefree than he was in other movies. He's matured and become a bit more of a tragic character, with the film heavily centered around the theme of loneliness, not only Spider-Man's, but also the other characters. Specifically, the one played by Sadie Sink, although I'm prevented from saying all that much about her, and, unsurprisingly, the movie's other big superhero, the Punisher. While the notion of bringing the very R-rated Punisher into this more family-friendly PG-13 sequel didn't seem quite natural, I have to say the character, who's once again played by Jon Bernthal, is actually well-suited to this film, given Peter's more isolated place in the world. Their somewhat friendly rivalry is used to good effect, as they have their loneliness in common. They are kindred spirits, although Frank Castle's darkness is admittedly toned down to a PG-13 level, with this perhaps the only version of the Punisher you'll ever see that doesn't really have that much of a body count. Tom Holland and Jon Bernthal have nice chemistry. They've known each other for years, having Bernthal famously filmed Tom Holland's Spider-Man audition tape all those years ago. And I have to say, the letter's sensitivity comes out in their scenes together. For his part, Holland is no longer the teenage whiz kid he once was, as he's matured into much more of a young leading man. And he gets some pathos this time, mostly centered around his lack of human connection now that May is gone, and MJ, once again played by Zendaya, and Ned, played by Jacob Batalon, no longer knowing him. Both of those characters figure into the plot, with MJ worked in well enough to merit bringing in an actress of the caliber Zendaya's at back. Although in terms of screen time, she's less central than she was in other films. Really, the focus, of course, is on Spider-Man himself and his new, lonelier place in the world. Although, don't worry, there is still a lot of action. The big set piece pits the Punisher and Spidey against Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, who, in an extended cameo, ends up in a full-on Hulk smash rampage that generates a lot of eye candy. Visually, the film is really well shot by Cretton and Brett Pollack, with it refreshingly bright and sunny, which is a nice alternative to the many ultra-dark tentpole movies I've seen lately, with Supergirl and the curiously desaturated Superman being prime offenders. Michael Giacchino is back to do the score, and there are Easter eggs galore, but again, I had to agree to a laundry list of spoilers that I was going to avoid, so perhaps a follow-up will be needed in a few days to tackle some of the bigger ones and what they mean for the future of the MCU. Whatever the case, I had a pretty good time with Brand New Day. Well, it wasn't the roller coaster ride No Way Home was, or as innovative as the animated Spider-Verse movies, I preferred it to the first two Holland-led Spider-Man films. It's surprisingly mature with some strong characterization as the character evolves into a more adult-skewing hero. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10.